through this meeting. So, Chairman?
Okay, ready to begin. All right, at 7:01, I'm going to call the meeting to order and like to do the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody would join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Rose, you want to read the Open Public Meetings Notice?
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was given in the annual meeting notice, which was emailed to the Herald News, the Record, Office of the County Clerk, the College Community, and posted on the PCC website and bulletin boards on November 19, 2020. The public may participate in this meeting only during the public portion, which takes place near the end of the meeting. To be recognized to speak, members of the public who are attending on Zoom via the web should use the raise hand function. Upon recognition by the chair, you will unmute your microphone video. Members of the public who are attending the meeting via phone call must hit *9 on their phone keypad to raise their hand and to be recognized. Upon recognition by the chair, they will mute their audio by using *6 on their phone. Individuals addressing the board must give their name and address in an audible tone and will have 5 minutes to make their statement. Comments from the public, which are provided by email or letter, will be read aloud during the meeting in a manner audible to all meeting participants and the public. The time limit for public comment shall apply to comments received via email or by written letter. Such comments will be read from the beginning until the time limit is reached. The board may pass over duplicate written and email comments. However, each duplicate comment will be noted for the record.
Thank you, Dr. Rose. Evelyn, can we do the roll call?
Yes. Alumni Rep Balaam?
Here.
Trustee Drakeford? Trustee Esquiche? Trustee Glovin?
Present.
Trustee Moody? Trustee Nutter?
Here.
Trustee Poe?
Here.
Trustee Smith?
Here.
Trustee Trivedi?
Here.
Vice Chair Tanis?
Here.
Chairman Marco?
Here. Thank you, Evelyn. The first order of business is the consideration of the minutes of the March 16th, 2021 Board of Trustees meeting. Are there any corrections to the meeting minutes from anyone? Okay, hearing none. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes of the March 16th, 2021?
I'll move it.
meeting?
Second.
Second, great. Roll call?
Trustee Glovin?
Yes.
Trustee Nutter?
Yes.
Trustee Poe?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Trivedi? Trustee Trivedi?
Yes, sorry
All
about
right,
that.
that's all right. Vice Chair Tanis?
Hello?
Yep, it's Tanis. Oh, okay, I hear
Oh.
you, Moody.
This is Moody, yes. I'm
Yes.
Sorry.
Chairman Marco?
Yes. And I think Chairman Moody came on.
Chairman, Trustee Moody, we just voted on the minutes. Can I have your vote?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay.
Yes, I voted yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Dr. Rose, we have a presentation tonight.
Okay, yes. As I said right before the meeting started, I don't think we could be more proud of this group of students that we have with us tonight. It seems, as Professor Gasparino said, it seems almost on a daily basis. I'm getting an email from some national organization telling me about another one of our students who has been selected for some incredibly prestigious honor and award. It is happening very often, and that is a wonderful thing. Typically we bring this group to you in May to talk about their accomplishments for the year, but in considering what was going on, we thought we had to break it up into two parts this year, just because there is just absolutely so much to talk about. So tonight we're gonna kind of focus on some of the projects that this group has been working on for the year, which are also incredibly impressive. So Professor Gasparino, I'm going to turn it over to you and take over.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Rose. Chairman Marco, Board of Trustees, Dr. Kanivi, Vice President Hardy, and all administration. It's so nice to be here. We look forward to this every year. And the fact that we get to do it 2 months in a row, I'm super excited. So I'm joined tonight by my co-advisor, Andy Perales, who you'll meet in a few minutes, and the executive board of Alpha Theta Chi, which is our chapter at Phi Theta Kappa, which you're going to learn all about. Most of you know, but I do see some new faces. So I'm really happy to to be here. I am going to turn it over to Raven John, our current president, to get started, and then you'll hear from me again in a little bit. Raven?
Hello, my name is Raven John, and I'm the Vice President. Today on our agenda, we will be discussing our Food for Thought on the Go Food Pantry Services and Financial Literacy Project. Our Food for Thought on the Go Food Pantry Services is a project to tap into resources to help students overcome food insecurity and create a hunger-free campus. Our financial literacy project is an important aspect of student success. We are working with our financial literacy expert provided to us by Dean Fallon through the Title V Teacher Excellence Grant. The goal is to create a program to enhance awareness of financial literacy among PCC students. Next slide, please. Access to food is a fundamental survival need, and all students deserve hunger-free campus. For this reason, we have taken on an ambitious effort to address food insecurity and develop a path to become a hunger-free campus. Next slide.
Hi, everyone. I'm J. Marie. I am the VP of Service. So today we will outline the process and progress our chapter has made to address food insecurity on campus and work to provide our students with resources that aid in becoming a hunger-free campus. We will take you back to the fall of 2018, where the project began, and show you how we continue to sustain the project through 3 different executive boards. Throughout the years, PTK has worked to address the issue of food insecurity on campus. Next.
So we started back in 2018 with the students working with our Middle States region and a project that the regional officers, and some of you might remember Jennifer Greco, who was the Middle States regional president at the time. And her team at the region came up with this project called MSR Feeds. And it was around that time where, and what's really important to remember is that food insecurity and hungry and homelessness in college is not a new subject. It's been around for a very long time. It has just become one of those things that we started paying attention to over the last several years. And lots of research has been done, especially at the Association of Community College Trustees, and in conjunction with the Hope Lab. And they catapulted this project of a service project that went throughout the region in this idea of how to fight hunger. And many chapters throughout the region, there are 82 of us, did different types of projects where some students went full force into developing food pantries, and some, like us, sort of took baby steps and started with awareness and bringing this information to the college. And so we started with presentations like Hungry and Homeless was a presentation that I gave to many students on campus. And we outlined all of these statistics that were addressed in specific research, that 42% of college students nationally are food insecure, and another 49% are housing insecure, and 10% are homeless. And these statistics.
Teacher, you're muted.
Pardon me?
Okay, I'm sorry. So these statistics were something that the students really struggled with understanding, and they wanted to learn more. And so we continued to do more research and put together projects that would then launch, as you will see, our current food programs on campus. We partnered with the Passaic County Food Policy Council in United Way because this gave us resources and understanding and more data to look at. And I sat on the council, and we appointed 2 students, Isaac Belgrave, who is here with us tonight, being one of them, which is the first time that students were sitting on this council to really bring the information back to the campus. And I'm going to now turn it over to my co-advisor, Andy, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about the data that we collected when we looked at student hunger survey.
Hello, everyone. During the spring 19 semester, our officer team was determined to address food insecurity on campus. We reviewed the data collected from the student hunger survey and found that the need to address food insecurity for our students was evident. The data revealed that 62% of students at PCC experienced at least one form of basic need insecurity in the past year. 52% of respondents experienced housing insecurity in the previous years. 48% of respondents experienced food insecurity in the prior 30 days. 23% of food insecurity students utilized SNAP benefits. 14% of respondents experienced homelessness in the previous year, and 6% of homeless students utilized housing benefits. This data was the impetus that launched our program.
Through this research, recognizing that food insecurity is a struggle among our college community, the chapter was determined to address hunger and work towards a food pantry on campus. We began with a competitive food drive, partnering with SGA and the student organization on campus and college and collected over 1,400 food items. The chapter worked with PCC's foundation, writing a grant to support our initiative. We received $10,000 to purchase vending machines and the equipment necessary to execute the project. I'll be turning over to Jay.
Yes, we also partnered with Panther Cafe and purchased 400 food vouchers, which would be provided to each student who signed up to use the machines. The college maintains 2 vending machines that are accessible to our college community. During the fall 2019 semester, 213 people from our college community signed up and accessed over 2,200 food items from on-the-go food vending machines.
Hello, I'm Samantha Chang, and I'm the Executive Public Relations Officer. Due to the pandemic, the initiative to provide food to our students using the vending machines paused. Because food insecurity still needed to be addressed, we collaborated with Chef Mike from Panther Cafe, Leah Travers from Student Advocacy, and Vice President of Finance, Steve Harvey, to brainstorm how to bring food to students in need. This effort led to the implementation of the Food for Thought on-the-go student meal pickup program. Next slide, please.
Yes. The Student Meal Pickup Program offers students 5 freshly cooked frozen meals weekly. To be equitable, we work to ensure that we provided meals that address allergies and food restrictions. We offer both vegetarian and vegan options. Also, we worked with Leah Travers, coordinator of student advocacy, to create printed resources about food security, SNAP benefits, and campus and community services. These materials are placed in each bag of food distributed. This program, much to the coordination of our services of our co-advisor, Andy Perales, along with our student volunteers, have proven to be such a huge success. In the fall, we began in October 2020, and we were able to serve 203 registrants. We had 20 student volunteers who completed a total of 764 hours and distributed over 5,500 meals. So far this semester, we are serving 212 participants and have 26 volunteers who have completed about 380 service hours. To date, this spring semester, we have distributed over 6,500 meals. We plan to continue serving throughout the summer and into next year. Next slide, please. In addition to the meals provided by Panther Cafe, we also received generous donations from Machios and PepsiCo. These donations have allowed us to offer additional food items to our prepared meals, such as fresh fruits and vegetables, healthy snack items, and lunch items such as prepared sandwiches. Next slide.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Diaz, and I am the membership coordinator. To continue our work toward a hunger-free campus, our advisor, Jennifer Gasparino, along with the Vice President of Advancement and Workforce Development, Todd Sorber, and Dean of Students, Dr. Sharon Goldstein, the Hunger Free Campus Grant was made. We hope to receive $100,000 over a 2-year period, which will help us sustain our efforts. Next slide. This grant introduced the project PCC Cares, student-inspired effort to eliminate campus hunger, which created a task force made up of administrators, faculty, and students to combat campus hunger. There are two goals to the grant. One, eliminate food insecurity as a barrier to student success. Two, sustain food insecurity initiatives beyond grant funding. Next slide, please. Each goal has an objective and activities to ensure that it is achieved. For goal 1, the objective is to make students aware of the college's Hunger-Free Campus initiative. To achieve that objective, our chapter aims to continue in its efforts to increase the number of students who receive SNAP benefits and have access to healthy food/food vouchers, host workshops and seminars on healthy lifestyles such as nutrition and wellness activities. And lastly, extend hunger-free services to include all PCC campus locations. Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. Some of the activities planned and conducted for Goal 1 are as follows: Community Resource Fair, PCC Wellness Fair, interactive student panels discussing issues related to hunger and homelessness, and PCC's Cares Community Quilt brings awareness to campus hunger and raise funds to combat food insecurity. Next slide.
Hi, I'm Edwin Lotero, Chapter Secretary. Providing awareness for SNAP benefits is a large part of the initiative. The college promotes the awareness and utilization of SNAP benefits for PCCC students through various means. We identified over 87 SNAP merchants within a 1-mile radius of the college and surrounding neighborhoods. To ensure that students can use their SNAP benefits at nearby stores, the college has developed a list of locations at all campuses for students to know where to use their SNAP benefits. We provide this information within the resources for the Student Meal Pickup Program. The college promotes awareness for SNAP benefits through social media and email, outreach by student clubs on campus, and student services locations like the Office of Student Activities and our PTK, Center for Leadership Excellence. Our Office of Student Advocacy will assist students with eligibility screening and applying for SNAP benefits. Next slide, please.
To align with this year's theme, Civic Responsibility During COVID-19, EOF and Student Support Services asked me to present a workshop highlighting the Student Meal Pickup Program during the first virtual Student Leadership Conference. The overarching theme of the presentation was college food insecurity, but the presentation was designed to evoke the idea that students can accomplish anything they put their minds to if they work together and use the resources provided to them. To align with the mission of creating a hunger-free campus, we discussed the data and the research process, bringing the programs and activities that align with food insecurity to fruition. We focused on the evolution of the Student Meal Pickup Program.
Because of the success of the Student Meal Pickup Program and to address food insecurity college-wide, we are working to extend the program to the Wanacue campus. Our co-advisor, Andy, and Chef Mike have been working with Lisa Jones, Assistant Director and Coordinator of Student Services, to coordinate the Student Meal Pickup Program at Wanacue. As of today, 10 students whose classes are primarily at the Wanacue location are registered in the program. The next step is to reach out to Patricia Medeiros, Enrollment Services Coordinator, to bring the Student Meal Pickup Program to the Passaic campus. Next slide.
My name is Kathy Osman, and I'm the Vice President of Fellowship. For the second goal of this project, the objective is to have financial resources to sustain and expand campus-based hunger-free grant-funded activities. To achieve this objective, first, the college will conduct a Swipe Out Hunger campaign using proceeds from campus vending operations and the PCCC Foundation to sustain project activities. Second, our chapter will collaborate with SGA, Men of Color Success Initiative, and other student organizations to solicit food donations and stock vending machines and mobile units. Lastly, the college will partner with local SNAP retailers to refer students to nearby SNAP merchants, giving them access to healthy food options.
In alignment with Goal 2, The grant will provide us financial resources to create activities that will sustain and expand a hunger-free campus at PCC. The following activities are cooking demonstration and hands-on workshops that will be offered to students who participate and will leave with the meal they created and grocery items needed to recreate the meal at home. The budgeting and financial planning workshop, which aims to help students ease their financial burden of grocery shopping. The hunger-free food box competition, which involves student organization and departments in a contest to pack a food box. To help sustain and expand our hunger-free campus initiatives, the boxes are going to be donated to mobile units for distribution at the Passaic and Wanacue centers. Next slide.
Hello, everybody. My name is Isaac Belgrave, and I'm the Vice President of Scholarship. So, every year, our chapter completes an Honors in Action project. This year's project focused on acculturation and food, designed to help remove the stigma of receiving SNAP benefits and learning about healthy food choices. We held a conference that aligned with the goals presented in the Hunger-Free Campus Grant, which helped to strengthen our grants application. You will learn more about our award-winning Honors in Action project next month when we present our year's accomplishments and awards. Next slide.
To enhance the college's hunger-free campus program, the college has formed a partnership with the Passaic County Food Policy Council and Swipe Out Hunger, a national nonprofit organization committed to ending hunger on college campuses. Also, we're currently working with the Student Government Association, EOF, and the Men of Color Successful Initiative to achieve each goal. Next slide, please. We would like to congratulate and acknowledge our co-advisor Andy Perales, Chef Michael Grossi, and Leo Travers for being integral figures in the success of this program. Their outstanding performance helped us institutionalize the student meal pickup program and provide our students and college community with awareness and resources. Thank you. And now I will turn it over to Bianca, who will introduce the Financial Literacy Project.
Thank you, Sam. As mentioned earlier, financial literacy is one of the essential aspects of student success because this would give students the advantage of making smarter financial decisions. At the beginning of the semester, through the Title V Teacher Excellence Grant, Dean Fallon reached out to our team to lead a peer-to-peer session about financial literacy. Next slide, please. So we prepared a timeline to provide an overview of the flow of the project. Initially, Dean Fallon introduced us to a financial literacy expert. Together, we had a focus group discussing financial concerns that community college students face. Out of the data gathered from the focus group session, a customized course was built for our college. We conducted 6 classes covering diverse topics that reflected students' financial circumstances. And last month, we attended the first Title V Advisory Council meeting and presented the project details and updates. After completing all classes, it is our turn to share the information with our peers by holding 2 info sessions with the next executive board to carry on with this project for the next academic year. Next slide, please.
Sorry, I couldn't find my mute button. So we took part in a focus group led by Dr. Barbara O'Neill, the CEO of Money Talk, in order to provide the student perspective into financial topics that were the most relevant to our college's student body. We recognize that many PCCC students do not have a lot of money to manage or invest right from the start. So we wanted some concrete ideas such as how to start thinking about investing, personal budgeting, building credit, and stretching out the dollar.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny Garcia. I am your Provisional Membership Coordinator. In our focus group with this discussion, Barbara designed a course tailored to the PCC students. The first topic was how does your cash flow? Understanding the relationship with money goals, budgeting needs versus wants, how to stretch a dollar, keeping track of your expenses and being able to prepare a personal or family budget. The second topic was financial fundamentals, places to manage money, writing checks, checking, debit cards, reconciliations, compounds, interest, and taxes. Our third subject was giving yourself credit. Credit cards, looking for best features and worst traps. Credit scores, understanding financial aid, and the different student loans a college, university, or state provides to our students. Understanding the difference between subsidized versus unsubsidized loans.
Our fourth class was big ticket purchases and insurance, where we learned about the importance of careful planning for the larger purchases of life, like purchasing a car or home and taking out insurance. As many of you may know, it is necessary to shop around for the best interest rates, understand the impact of credit score on these rates, decide on what the best form of insurance is given the risks involved when securing these purchases. Our fifth class was investing for your future, where we learned all the ins and outs of investing as a strategy for growing our wealth, from the very basics to investment types to risk tolerance. Investing is a very powerful tool that can prepare students for their retirements or for growing funds for a large purchase in the future. By using tools like online calculators, we were able to see how much can be grown from investing as early as possible. And it doesn't take too much money to start. Class number 6 was 20 steps to 7 figures. Finally, this class took us through the 20 steps that everyone should consider taking on their journey to building their wealth if they haven't already. These are tried and true strategies. For example, buy and hold your stocks for the long term, because we know that the market fluctuates in the short term, but has grown over the long term. Live below your means and invest the difference. Increase your human capital, something that every student at PCC is doing here. And begin as early as possible. This way, we can all achieve 7 figures, even us. Next slide, please. We were provided with an array of interesting and educational activities to illustrate the financial literacy concepts we worked on throughout the course. And what is a class without homework? Well, of course, homework serves an important purpose, and part of it is to solidify in our minds what we've learned up to this point. One of the ways homework was assigned was through what Dr. O'Neill called the Jersey Diner menu, which was an assortment of assignments we could choose from to further our financial literacy practice. There might have been a financial game to play or some research into insurance policies, but either way, there was something for everyone. Finally, the start of each class was devoted to a period of reflection on what we learned through our assignments. Next slide, please.
Here we had an example. Spanish practice activity in a video game form that provide us with a better understanding on how to develop money management skills. It also gave us many different perspectives into making wise decisions to continue maintain a stable living based on a budget. This activity is an example of how people are struggling financially and how decisions making can impact their living status.
Taking this course offered us so much valuable information. We all took away an experience that we're excited to share with our peers, which are as follows. So, Ashley said, the financial literacy course was a life-changing experience and inspired me to make choices for my financial future. Edwin said, I learned that it's not too late for me to start making smarter financial decisions so I can have enough money for my life's goals. Raven said, the financial literacy course has taught me the significance of money management. Because of the financial literacy course, I will be able to make informed decisions that will benefit me financially. I said, the financial literacy course taught me about debit cards and credit cards, as well as the advantages and disadvantages of each. And Jenny said, the financial literacy workshop has helped me to clearly understand the benefits of savings and investing for a greater future. Now, as we mentioned before, we will be holding 2 presentations. One presentation will be aimed toward the Women of Change, Success, and Inspiration, which is an initiative on our campus, and the other will be for our very own PTK members. We will then ensure that the incoming 2021-2022 Executive Board will receive training so that they are able to present during their term. Next slide, please.
We would like to thank you for your time. With the college's ambitious efforts, together we successfully achieved the goal of becoming a hunger-free campus and implement a financial literacy curriculum to enhance students' financial situations.
All right. Well, questions?
I have a question.
All right.
If it's okay. Once we get back to normal, assuming this pandemic situation passes by the next fall, what changes do you anticipate making in both of these programs, both the food and the financial?
Great question.
As of right now, we have been approved for 1 more year to continue the student meal pickup program. And in the event, we want to try to continue that as best as possible. If we get approved for the Hunger Free Campus grant, we will try to continue that. And maybe during that time, if we need to draft up an application where maybe we can, where the students would have to meet a requirement so they can continue to receive the free meals, we will do that. And throughout that same time, we will also continue the vending machines, which is just accessible. There is no requirement to that. So.
Yeah, and just last week, we applied for the governor's office released a competitive grant for food insecurity on campuses. So we applied for a $100,000 grant last week through the governor's office, which they are using some of their federal CARES money to fund this. So hopefully we'll hear in the next month or two whether we get that grant. And if we do, obviously that'll jumpstart the program pretty well. But if not, we'll find another way to do it.
The financial literacy piece is we're operating on a train the trainer. So these students are going to train their predecessors, the students that come after them in the executive board so they can continue training students on campus and bringing these more and more workshops. So this is something that we hope to continue building and continue working with the Title V grant to bring this important topic. We have some long-term plans as to where we want to train and what student groups we want to bring this to, and hopefully to the entire campus. We've worked really hard, as you can see, to tailor this financial literacy process for our students, right? One of the things that Dean Fallon and I talked about when we started was financial literacy is a really hot topic right now. But when we think of financial literacy, it's hard as a student who lives in an environment where poverty is riddled to think about financial literacy, right? So we really wanted to tailor it to our students so that they can start to understand some of these concepts and how do they stretch their money and how do they start to think how their education impacts their financial futures. And I think we've done a really good job and we'll continue to do that so we can bring that message to more and more students on campus. But the goal is for the students to continue training each other so that they can bring that message to more and more students.
Any other questions, comments?
This was really good. The one comment I had off the poll, off like whatever, Isaac, you have such a solid voice. I was taking notes on how you enunciate, how you present, and how level keeled you were. I was taking notes and I learned from you. So I want to give you a shout out for teaching me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Isaac does have a great voice, I'll tell you.
Yeah, great broadcasting voice.
Yeah.
Well, look, I think you'll get to see more next month, but I just can't tell you how. I think you could see how enthusiastic these students are and how seriously they take it, and what an impact they're having, on this community. This food insecurity thing is real. I mean, I think it's sometimes hard for some of us to understand that, and it's but if you work on the campus and you get to know the students, students who a couple of years ago there was a student. He actually was our student body president quite a few years ago, and Dean Goldstein and I found out from talking to him one day that he was living in his car for several months and that he was homeless. And we never in a million years would have known it. I mean, it just was not something that we understood. And then as you get to know the students, by no fault of their own, we keep finding out, some of the, really tough situations some of our students are in. And, the more we can do to support them, the better off they're going to be. This is all part of student success. And the fact that these, that Phi Theta Kappa has taken this on as, a project that they want to do, especially, the food is an easy one to figure out in some ways, but this financial literacy one, this is going to change their lives forever potentially. And it's really exciting seeing what they're doing and just how much energy and effort they put into this. Every day, if any of you, I know Harvey has seen it many times, when you walk on campus every day, they're set up to distribute the food by the Ellison Street entrance to the college, and they're out there and they're manning. They've got dozens and dozens of meals, ready for distribution, and it's just really impressive. Just the commitment, Andy's there all the time, and whatever it takes, they do. Even right now, as some of you are familiar with the effort that's going on in Patterson for income security, where residents are able to apply to get into a lottery for some guaranteed income for the next year. This is something funded by the founder of Twitter, and it's going on in several cities around the country. Well, the college stepped up, and there's residents of Patterson who do not have computer access and who couldn't even apply to be part of the program. So we set up our theater with 4 computer stations for residents of Patterson to come in, up till next week to fill it out. And that's available between, 10 in the morning and 9 o'clock at night. And some of these students have volunteered to help man the tables there and provide support to these Pattersonians who are coming in to fill out this paperwork, which is not that easy from what I understand. And I understand, 2,000 people applied right away, but we had, Andy, you were telling me how many came into the college that first day too?
On the first day, we had 23 Pattersonians show up, and then it started dwindling down throughout the week, but they're still coming in.
And I'm sure as the deadline comes up next week, we'll start seeing a crowd coming in to do it. But these are all things that wouldn't be possible without the support of these students and their dedication and energy to serve others and to do whatever it takes to make things better. So we're really proud of them.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Chairman, I'll keep going if that's okay.
Keep going, Dr. Rose, you're on a roll.
You got it. Information items for discussion. We have our annual application for our Carl Perkins Career and Technical Grant. That's monies that we get from the Department of Education each year in New Jersey. So it's a requirement. So every year we do that. We have an articulation agreement with Rutgers University for our business program. Rutgers, particularly Rutgers Newark, who we find just a pleasure to work with, and another opportunity for our students to go on from our business programs directly to Rutgers Newark, and it's a great opportunity for them. And Jackie, I'll let you talk about the career certificate, dialysis technician.
Hi, we're really excited to present the dialysis tech certificate. It took us a while to get it going, but we finally got it going. We'll get some students in it for the fall, but it's a certificate that will allow students to work in dialysis centers to provide help the nursing staff with patients on dialysis. As we all know, as our population ages, there's more and more people, unfortunately, in chronic renal failure. So that we feel that students will be able to find jobs, and hopefully maybe some of them will go on in the healthcare industry to become nurses, nurse practitioners, physician's assistants.
Dr. Rose, you want to go back to the statement of revenue and expenditures?
Yeah, I mean, that's more for your information, but I'm happy to talk about it. Obviously, this is a year like no other year when it comes to our finances. You'll see there's we're way below our revenue projections, as you would expect, with being down almost over 15% in enrollment, but we're also way down in terms of our expenditures. So we're controlling both together, and because of some of the federal funding that we've been able to get, we're actually at this point projecting a sizable surplus for the year, which is what our intent is. As I think we've told many of you before, our reserves, when a few years ago, when undocumented students starting pulling out of the college in big numbers, we were forced to use, and that's why you have reserves, to cover those rainy days. And boy, it sure poured when those students, about 1,000 students no longer came to the college. So we used our reserves to get through that period of time, but it was very important that we start to build up our reserves again, which we need to do over the next several years. And it looks like we're on good track this year to do that. And we also have a plan for next year to do the same thing. And by 2023, we should be in very good shape in terms of having enough reserves to get us through. And if enrollment picks up, and that's a big if right now, because there's a lot of storm clouds out there, but assuming that at some point enrollment will pick up, we should be in very good shape going forward.
Great, super. Okay.
Purchases of goods and services, happy to answer any of those questions about any of those purchases. I think they're all fairly routine this month, but happy to answer any questions about them if you'd like. And if not, we'll ask our counsel to talk about the policies tonight.
Sure thing. So we have 4 policies for first reading tonight. The first two, A906, which is a new policy, the drug-free school and campus policy, and B109, drug-free workplace, is actually a split of a current policy of B109. In reviewing the current policy, I realized that there's actually 2 different federal statutes at play here. One is the Drug-Free Workplace Act, which applies to institutions of higher education and contractors, higher ed institutions that get federal grants, of which we get several. And so, but that only applies to employees. The drug-free school and campus policy applies to employees and students alike. The 2 different acts require different notification, impose different burdens on employees and students, and different reporting requirements. In fact, when they last sent out regulations on the drug-free school and campus act, the commenters asked that they come up with a way to combine the 2 so that there can only be one report that has to be filed. And they determined that they couldn't do that. And so I felt it was best to split the policies into 2. B209 is a revision of the current policy. Current policy now is entitled multi-year contracts. It's been revised for contracts for professional staff not holding faculty rank. The existing policy is obsolete in several respects, not the least of which is it references an administrative code section that is no longer in existence. The Department of Higher Ed, the Secretary of Higher Ed, determined they didn't need to continue that regulation, saying that the colleges knew what their options were and they could devise their own policies. The college has not, in my tenure here, and Steve can tell me if before my tenure it's as accurate, has never offered a multi-year contract to any of these professional staff. The statute that is referenced both in the existing statute policy talks about when notification has to be given. And so it's split up between those professional staff that does not yet serve 5 years with the college and those that have served 5 years or more. Finally, the mental health crisis intervention policy. The current policy is quite detailed in terms of procedures, membership in the college behavioral intervention team. In speaking to our Dean of Student Affairs, she is looking for far more flexibility in terms of adjusting members of the behavioral intervention team, as well as changing procedures as things, the way of treating these things and dealing with these things change. In my opinion, all that detail does not belong in a board policy, which would not allow for a more flexible response, if you will. Right now, to change these procedures, if they were to stay in policy, would require drafting the policy and then bringing it to the board for 2 readings before they're changed. And we're talking, a 2 to 3 month process. In my opinion, the board's policy, as I express it in the revision, is what the board's function is, with direction to have procedures detailed at the administrative level. So with that, I'll entertain any questions.
I have a question for you, Michael.
Sure.
The school and campus policy, and I reviewed it. I'm wondering about the new legislation that allows the legalization of marijuana and how that impacts this, because it talks about legal possession of same. But if I go out and if it's legal and I buy it, is it? I mean, it's a little inconsistent. Could you explain that?
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me just. So this is where the federal and the state government collide and conflict. Right now, marijuana is still a Schedule I drug on the federal narcotic statutes. It's legal in New Jersey, but not legal with the feds. And so it creates a little bit of a problem in terms of drafting the policy. The whole idea of this is for students and employees not to possess or use alcohol, marijuana, or other illicit drugs. The only exception would be prescription drugs. And so someone that has a prescription for medicinal or medical marijuana would be able to possess it. In talking to the Dean of Students, I understand that on the student side, they try and coordinate things with the students so that don't actually have to take the medical marijuana while on campus. They try and adjust schedules, work with them in terms of deadlines and things like that, almost like an ADA reasonable accommodation, to allow them to meet the standards in the policy, but also their medical requirements. Does that answer your question?
Well, not really, because I'm wondering if a student brings a product onto the campus, not necessarily taking it, that student, by under New Jersey law, is allowed to have it, but they're not allowed to have it on the campus. Is that what you're telling me?
That's what I'm telling you. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So we couldn't, that person wouldn't be prosecuted, but they could be in violation of the policy.
That's correct. And a violation of the Student Code of Conduct with regard to a student, and subject to discipline under the Student Code of Conduct, but couldn't be referred over for any prosecution because there's nothing illegal about it. Right.
And I have one other comment really about, I was looking at the mental health policy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with this, but I am, because my old role with the county. St. Joe's has now established a mental health unit. And I'm wondering if there's some kind of way to include them if there is a problem with a mental health problem on a campus. You might want to check into that, if that's possible.
Sure, I'll pass that on to Dean Goldstein and to Vice President Fernandez, and let them know that.
Yeah, it might be, because in the past that's new this year, so.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
we-
before it was just St. Mary's, right?
No, no, St. Joe's in Patterson as a
No,
unit.
no, I know St. Joe's now,
Prior to that.
but prior to that, the
Yeah,
only one I
prior
was
to
familiar
that,
with was St.
prior
Mary's.
to that, it was Clara Moss. So,
Oh, really?
Wow.
yeah,
Not even St. Mary's. Huh.
St. Mary's closed down about 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, okay.
When they went to an in-profit or for-profit situation. So this short-term unit became Clara Moss.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. That's good to know. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Any other
we,
questions?
we actually have an employee assistance program with St. Joe's, where those services are included already. And I know that we have used them for referrals for our student issues. So
Oh,
we're
good. Oh,
already,
I didn't know that. All right, good.
yeah.
I'm glad
So
to hear that.
we already have a relationship there. In
Dr. Rose, never mind.
no, that's good. Good. That's good. That's what we
Never
need.
mind.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Mike, do you want to give a update on our flagpole situation?
I do. I
Yeah,
do.
please.
So you may recall that 6-7 months ago, I came to you and let you know that the vendor that installed the 3 flagpoles in front of the main entrance to the college and Memorial Drive and Broadway had sued us in Nebraska because we hadn't paid them because the poles were dirty. They proceeded to get a judgment in Nebraska. They got a New Jersey attorney right around Christmas time, New Year's time. And he said, listen, I think we can get these poles cleaned, but we want to get paid. And I said, well, you tell me how you're going to get them cleaned first, and then I will work out getting you paid. Well, 3 months passed, and then we got a letter from not the attorneys, but from the company itself offering us 2 options. One was that they would get all new poles, but they wanted to get paid in full upfront, and then they would work with the manufacturer to get us new poles. And they had a quote, they had a communication from the pole manufacturer. Option number 2 was to give us a credit because the manufacturer was going to give them a credit of about $5,300 against the cost of the poles. They offered to pass that savings on to us since we already had the poles and they were up. And so we took option number 2. And so instead of paying them $24,000 in change, we paid them $18,000 in change. And I'm happy to report that just in today's mail, we received the satisfaction of judgment. So happy to report that one's a closed deal. And we saved the college a couple of bucks.
How much is it going to cost to clean the poles?
We don't know. We don't know. What we suspect is that the manufacturer didn't put the final finish coat on the poles. And there's really no way to get them clean. But they're so tall. And you either see them at a distance and you see the flag, or you're standing next to the poles and you've got to crane your neck all the way up to really see that they're dirty. I probably notice it more than anybody else, A, because I was familiar with the issue, but B, because where my office is and one of the corridors I go down, the window is right there and I'm looking out at from the third floor at the pole, so I can see all the dirt on the pole. So it's one of those things where when you, Mike, you probably know this as well as anybody, when you have construction, sometimes things don't go according to plan and you got to make adjustments at the end of the project. This was an adjustment at the end of the project.
Okay.
And it's a compromise, but I think a good one for us.
So for our PTK students, this is another lesson in financial literacy of how to handle situations when they come up. And, so we had a choice and had to figure out how to handle it. And in this case, taking a credit and accepting a slightly inferior pole, which is still totally usable, is probably a better way to go for us. So one of life's lessons.
Is the coating going to cause its life to deteriorate over time, though?
We do not know. We do not think. No, I mean, we don't think it's going to affect the lifespan of the pole at all.
Okay.
Whether the situation will, they've been up over a year now, and it does not appear that there's been any deterioration since they were put up. So we've been watching it closely.
It'll be 2 years this summer.
It's a judgment call.
Perfect.
Okay. Did you go into personnel items at all, Dr. Rose?
Yeah, well, we're not having executive session, so.
Right, okay, so good.
We're fine.
Yeah, I got knocked off, so I was gone for a while there.
Okay, nope, we're good.
All right, so I want to take up resolution number 3, consent agenda, items A, B, C, and D. Got a motion to move that?
So moved.
Second? Where's Michael?
Yeah.
Come on, Michael.
Stay second.
Fine, second, I'll second it. What the-
Okay, fine.
Okay, Evelyn, roll.
Roll call. Trustee Esquiche? She was there. Where'd she go? All right. Trustee Glovin?
Yes.
Trustee Moody?
Yes.
Trustee Nutter?
Yes.
Trustee Poe?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Trivedi?
Yes.
Vice Chair Tanis?
Yes.
Chairman Marco?
Yes. Okay, are there any remarks from the trustees? Okay, Michael, do we have any remarks from the public?
No.
No remarks from the public, okay. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
roll.
Trustee Esquiche, not there. Trustee Glovin?
Yes.
Trustee Moody?
Yes.
Trustee Nutter?
Yes.
Trustee Poe?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Trivedi?
Yes.
Vice Chair Tanis?
Yes.
Chairman Marco?
Yes. Okay, thank you, everyone.
I
Stay
think,
safe.
did you get Trustee Drakeford?
No, I don't.
He
know
did
her.
it. No, I was on the call. Yes.
She's been here for a while.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Rose.
I noticed you a while ago, so I'm sorry.
I kept looking, but I did not see her face.
Yeah, she's there.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Stay
Okay,
safe,
everyone.
all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Glad I got back on. You never know what goes on in North Haven.